Hi, everybody. Bryony Zasman here, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to be looking at the fastest way ever to build and create virtual samples. We are recording this session. We'll send it as a follow-up, but if you have any questions during, type them into the chat box and we'll go through them at the end. All right, so we're looking at virtual samples. The majority of you joining me today are promotional product suppliers. And we know that promotional product suppliers need to be able to provide virtual samples to their customers. And we're going to show you a solution that is going to make all of your lives much easier, as well as improve sales for your distributors. So in our agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about why virtuals close deals. Then we're going to look at the pain points of creating virtuals. We're going to look at how we're fixing those pain points. And then we're going to give you a demo of our platform. At the end, we'll do a little bit of a comparison to show you different options you have for creating virtuals. And then we'll do a Q&A session. We have 30 minutes, so at the end, if we run out of time, the Q&A section might go over, but again, we'll record this and send it as a follow-up. All right, so I am assuming most of you here today probably know the answer to this question, but why are virtual samples important to promotional product distributors? There are a couple key things that we want to point out, but we know in an industry of putting logos on things, how important seeing a logo on an image or a product is when you're trying to make a buying decision. So our key points are that really virtuals provide visualization for a distributor to send to their customer. When you can see your logo on a product, it is so much easier to make that decision on if it's a good fit or not. Ultimately, virtual samples do close sales. Also, by providing virtual samples to an end user, creates more of a relationship. You can see we've put the effort in, we are creating something custom here and helping me make a better decision on what's best for me. So a distributor that can be proactive and share virtual samples for their customer is likely going to have a lot more success than another distributor that has sent them just blank product images. It also produces engagement. That end user can say, hey, you know what? I didn't realize it, but my logo doesn't look great on an orange hoodie. Can I see it on the purple one? Or maybe they're like, that mug is perfect, but my logo isn't quite right. Let's make it a little bigger or smaller. So it helps you have collaboration with your customer and be a little bit more proactive with them. And generally that workflow is really difficult with just the standard process of using Illustrator to create virtuals, because you're going back and forth, you're editing and adjusting. So if you have a tool that makes it really simple to put logo on products, they're able to customize and you're able to send back those virtuals as they're requested. And then that leads into improving communications. So what the customer gets is what they ultimately expected to get because they saw that virtual sample. So we know that distributors are requesting virtuals when selling your products, but we also know that they're difficult to fulfill because they require a lot of specialized skills and specialized team members to put them together. And that leads into the pain points of virtual samples. So generally, virtual samples are time sensitive. A distributor needs to get these products to their customer right away, but because they're usually being designed in special software, they are probably waiting for your team members a couple days or a week before they can get it back. So timing with virtuals can be quite painful when fulfilling requests. They can also be really expensive and tie up your resources. We spoke to most suppliers in the industry, and we know that suppliers are either not providing virtual samples, they are using their in-house designers to create them, or they're outsourcing them. And having that manual process, if you have one, is expensive. You have to put your resources towards them, and that means those resources are not available for other important design tasks like designing your catalogs, presentations, and more. It also depends on your designer's workflow. So we know that most suppliers go through a really busy time at the end of the year trying to get their catalogs together. Their virtual samples take a hit They don't have time to put those together. And we see this time and time again, but suppliers have a lot of unfulfilled demand. If you could provide virtuals to everybody always, even when they didn't ask, you would see an improvement in sales and make it easier for distributors to sell your products. But to date, that really isn't possible because you are depending on somebody to manually create those for you and put their time and effort into it when they likely have a big workload anyway. Another huge one that most suppliers don't think about is that when you create virtual samples today, you are likely sending them as a PDF or a JPEG for the distributor to then forward on, or maybe pop it into a presentation or a PowerPoint. But once that virtual sample leaves your computer, you have no idea what it's doing, who's viewing it, how it's being used, if it was even opened at all. So knowing the payoff of this time and resources that you're investing in your virtuals is really, really difficult. And this is a pain point we have solved because it is really important to understand the value of your virtuals and how they ultimately are impacting that bottom line. Of course, delays can lead to lost sales in our industry. Things move quickly. Again, when a distributor wants to present a product, they likely want to present it that day. So when you delay getting virtual samples to your customer is delaying getting it to their customer. And I mean, let's be real, distributors have options for products from different suppliers. So the suppliers that are able to fulfill these requests quickly are likely getting their products in front of end users more frequently. So ultimately, the delays do end up being lost sales at times. So we've fixed these pain points. Being in the promotional product industry for 15 years, we have worked with almost every single supplier. And initially, we started by helping them with their content, their catalogs and their flyers, putting them online, distributing them, and making them customizable. During that time, we realized most suppliers really struggled with actually creating that content. It is time-consuming and difficult to design catalogs, presentations, and lookbooks. So we built a platform called ZOOMstudio. More recently, we've evolved ZOOMstudio to create virtual samples. So we have a virtual sample add-on for ZOOMstudio that now allows users to instantly create what they need. With a tool like the virtual add-on in ZOOMstudio, you are able to offer an online tool to not only your team, but your distributors as well. You are empowering them to self-serve. They're not dependent on your resources, your designers, and waiting for those to be created. And with a tool like the virtual add-on, you can now create virtual samples in bulk. We know that when you get a request for a virtual sample, it is unlikely that is going to be, hey, can I see this one hoodie in this one color with the logo? They're generally asking, hey, can I see these 3 hoodies in these different colors with these 2 logo variations? So ultimately, they're really requesting quite a few virtual samples in one single request. So with the virtuals add-on, you're able to create virtual samples in bulk and get those out the door really quickly. Whether you're enabling your team to use the virtual add-on for your distributors or just sending your distributors right in there to create their own. And that's why we've invented the fastest way ever to create virtual samples. At the end of the session, we have a little table that shows you the different industry options for virtuals. It is a problem that we've been working to solve. Everybody's been working to solve. But there hasn't been a tool that really focused on speed, making that virtual quickly, making sure it's accurate, and then ensuring you can make multiple versions in the different variations that are being requested. And that's where we get the virtuals add-on for ZOOMstudio. Now, I'm hoping most of you were with us in our session last week. Last week, we did a demo of ZOOMstudio. If you missed that session, we'll send it as in an email follow-up so you can check it out. But in ZOOMstudio, you can create whatever type of content you need within seconds. Now, as you're doing that, logo is going to be applied to product, and we're going to jump in there and take a look. But I'm going to jump right to the virtuals part. So if you are wanting a deeper dive on ZOOMstudio, definitely watch that video or reach out to us and we can set up a one-on-one. All right, so let's take a look. Here I am, I'm in a ZOOMstudio dashboard. So just for some context, if you were to come on board with ZOOMstudio, some of you here already have it. This dashboard is for your team. So your team members can come in here, create new content, view what others are creating, share and use templates, and start a new design. This is where I can now decide what I'm making. I might be a sales rep making a presentation with specific items for a distributor that has called in and asked for our best sellers. Or I might be a distributor and my customer has a big event coming up and I want to put some product ideas together for them. Or I'm on your marketing team and we have a new product line. We want to put a lookbook together and we want to do it quickly and allow it to be customizable. I would come into ZOOMstudio here. So I'm going to go ahead and give my design a name. I'm just going to call my new products. And I can choose my design settings. I can change my page layout. I also can choose what logo is going to show on the footer and the cover page. However, this is different from the logo I want applied to the product. So as I'm choosing my design settings, since I want to instantly create virtual samples, I'm going to go to the virtual samples tab here and toggle this on. That means as I'm adding products to my design, the logo I'm about to select will be automatically added to that imprint area. So I'm going to go ahead and click upload, and anything I previously uploaded will be right here available for me to select again, or I can go ahead and upload a new logo. It's saving to my account, so when I walk away and come back tomorrow, I can reuse that logo and I don't have to keep re-uploading. This is incredibly helpful for supplier team members, your sales reps, because they can have their customers' logos stored. We also have a shared library. This is where you, as the admin of the tool, can create a library of images and logos available for all of your users, and you can set permissions. So you can say these are for our team only, or these are for distributors as well. The nice thing about that is that you can have all of your customer logos in there set to team only, so that your sales team, when they're going to create virtuals, can look to see if it's a logo that's already available. Once I've uploaded my logo, I can choose to select it and use it as is, or I can go in and edit and clean it up. So we have some really useful tools where I can change the color of the logo. And if it's a JPEG, I can remove the background of that logo. So regardless of what I am doing, I can make sure my logo matches my needs for the piece I'm about to create. For this example, I'm going to choose this white logo here. Okay, so I've now turned on to apply logo and selected my logo, and I'm going to get started. Now, this is the part of the ZOOMstudio demo that we did last week, but just for a brief summary, with ZOOMstudio, I can add as many pages as I want, and I can change the layout of my page. So currently I have a 4-product layout, but I can go to the layout library and maybe choose to start with a cover page or have a single product or a nice banner and 2 products, whatever I need there. I'm going to keep the 4-product layout right now, and then we're going to go ahead and start filling it in. All I need to do is click on each block to add the products I want to present. This is where we will be connected to your product data. And the product data connection is very simple. Our team does all the work. We can get your data through promo standards, spreadsheet, or API, and we can best determine what works for you with a quick conversation. Once we've set up your studio and connected your product data, anybody coming in here can search across your products by product ID, product name, or keyword. I'm going to go ahead and just select some that are showing here. So I'm going to do a wide variety. I'll choose this black hoodie, duffel bag, this little remote thing, and a mug. So I've selected 4 products because I have 4 product spots on my page. All I need to do is click add products, and within a few seconds, that logo is now applied to the imprint area on each and every item. So it can't really get any faster than that. I just created 4 virtual samples within seconds and I am ready to go. Or I can choose to add additional products and additional pages if I needed to create a more robust deck of products. So your sales rep could put a beautiful deck together and have these virtuals in here. Distributor could put their customer's logo on items and make a lookbook. It's going beyond just that virtual sample. You can choose how you're presenting it, and you can present it as different types of content. Now, a few things to mention. The logo drops into what we refer to as the primary imprint location. This is set up in the dashboard. Now, we recognize that sometimes there is a product that has multiple imprint locations. A good example is this hoodie. This logo can go on the left chest, the right chest, the full chest, or maybe with this duffel bag, it could go up here or above the zipper. You can configure multiple imprint locations for each product. One of those imprint locations is going to be set as primary, which is where the logo drops. But as a user, I can click to edit and view the alternative imprint locations for an item. So you can see for this hoodie, my options are left chest, center, and right chest. So if I want to update this virtual, I can simply create a new one using the imprint location of my choice. And you can see now it has updated on the page. Furthermore, I can make changes to an individual logo. So in contrast to in the design settings where I chose this logo, I can go and swap it on an individual item. So a nice example is maybe on this product, I actually wanted the logo to be black, even though I'm going to keep the rest white. It's really simple to update the logo on an individual product by clicking on the edit icon. We'll then go to click on edit here, and then I'm going to swap out the logo. So I could actually choose a different logo altogether, or I can go in and, like I showed earlier, change some settings here to create a new variation of this logo. So now I've made a black version. I'm going to hit save, and it's going to save the black version to my account. So if I need to use it again in the future, I don't have to remake that variation. You can see here's the original. Here's the variation I made, and then here are other variations I've made at other times. So now I'm going to select this new black one that I created. I'm going to choose the imprint location I want, hit create, and that is going to be updated. So updating virtuals is really simple. Configuring them and making minor changes on an individual product level is also really simple. So let's go ahead and add one more product here. This time I'm going to change my page layout, and I'm going to use the single product. So this is just going to be one nice big product right in the middle of the page. Let's find one that we like. Try to get something in a different product category. Let's go ahead and use this one. Click add, and then we'll just give it a second for that logo to be applied to the product. And then if I need to, I can also turn on and off some of this information. So if I really just want to send the virtual sample, I can exclude any details. I can just have that product. So you can do what you need in terms of the details that go along with your virtual sample. Okay, so now I have 2 pages of my virtuals for my customer. I'm going to go ahead and publish my design. And that's how simple it is to share. You get an instant link that you can pop into an email or put on your website. If you're doing a marketing piece, maybe you want to share it on social media. And this is what your customer and their customer will see when they receive this link. So here are all the virtuals. They can browse through the different pages if there are additional pages, and they can click on a product for additional information. So they can view the colors, sizes, pricing, and more. Additionally, if you want to include multiple variations of a single product, I'll show you how to do that, but you can include virtuals here that they can toggle through of a single item. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and create multiple virtuals for just this hoodie. So I'm going to click on edit. I'm going to go to sidebar because that was the sidebar here. This is the sidebar. I'm going to click see all, and then currently I have the blank images in that sidebar. So I'm going to go ahead and create virtuals for some of the other colors. wait, sorry, I think I did something wrong here. 1 second. Okay, ignore that step. I think something a little funky is going on. Of course, it's happening during my webinar, but that would work. And then I could just hit create, 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 and then we'll have multiple colors of this hoodie that they can scroll through. So you're not only providing them the virtuals, but you're providing them multiple virtuals. And when they're in this design, they can also hover and download any virtual samples that they need. So we know that distributors often like to take these virtuals and maybe put them into their own presentation or put them on their website, whatever that is, maybe print them. They can get high resolution versions of each of your virtual samples you send. So as you can see, creating virtuals is really quick and simple. You can also share it in different ways, whether it's just the individual virtual as a lookbook, presentation, catalog, and more. Now, another thing I want to touch on are editable templates. So this is something we have been asked for since the beginning of Zoom Catalog. Distributors always ask, can I add my logo to every product in that catalog? With a traditional Zoom catalog, that isn't possible because they are designed outside of our platform. But now you can share virtual enabled content with ZOOMstudio and the virtual add-on. So you'll take your ZOOMstudio, jump in and create a lookbook. So maybe you want to make a lookbook for the holidays or a vertical market lookbook, or a category where you want all your hoodies or all your mugs together. When you share that lookbook as a template, a distributor can open it up, upload their customer logo, and that logo will apply across all of the products. So they get an amazing sales tool that's already designed. They get their own unique link and they can quickly share it with their customer. So let's take a look at that. I'm going back to the dashboard here and I'm going to go look at what pre-designed templates are available. In our studio demo last week, we did touch on this where you can create all sorts of types of templates that are basically a starting point for your team and distributors. So they can take the lookbook you've made and make customizations to it, maybe adding their distributor's logo, swapping out products and editing pricing. They get their own version. So I have a template here, drinkware and more, and I'm going to use this template. So what this does is it copies a version to my account that I can then customize as I need. And because the products in here are virtual enabled, I can upload a logo and have it applied to all the products. So you can see here, we have quite a big catalog with different products in it and different lifestyle shots. But these are just regular product shots. They are decorated with example logos, but what I want to do is have them update with my own logo or my customer's logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the design settings, back to our virtual samples tab, click apply logo, and then select or upload the logo I want applied. Now I'm going to hit save settings, and that's it. So we're going to give this piece a few moments, and you can see now that logo is automatically applied to every single piece in this catalog. So you can now share virtual enabled content, whether it's sales decks, lookbooks, flyers, presentations, and more. It's never been easier for your team and distributors to apply a logo to as many products as necessary with a couple simple clicks. So for ZOOMstudio, you can come in here and create a presentation with the products of your choice, or you can share virtual enabled content that anybody, whether it's a distributor or your team members, can apply logos to all the products within moments. So now that my piece is done with my logo, maybe I want to go in here and add my own contact information or swap out the logo on the footer. I can adjust as needed. Then I simply hit publish. And now I have taken this drinkware and more catalog and made it really custom for my customer. It's the perfect sales tool for a distributor to send on to their client. They can visualize their these products with their logo on them. They can download the virtuals as needed, and they can then inquire for more. So you can see I have my virtuals here. I can also download them if needed. So ZOOMstudio, along with the virtuals add-on, is a powerful tool, not just for sharing content, but virtual samples as well. It can be used for pre-sales, post-sales, it can be used by marketing. We even see suppliers having their design teams use it, because even for a very skilled designer, creating virtuals this way is much faster than opening up Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever platform, and having to create one by one each virtual, and then taking each one of those virtuals and putting them in a zip folder and attaching to an email. There is just a much better way to do it, and that's with virtual enabled content with ZOOMstudio. All right, so with the last 5 minutes left, I'm going to jump back to our deck and just talk about different virtual options that our industry has to offer. But don't forget to type your questions into the chat box if you have any. So we know that there are a lot of options out there. I know this table is a lot to take in, but I'm going to summarize it here. With our surveys and discussions with suppliers, there are 4 main options out there for creating your virtuals. One is outsourcing. So there are companies like Office Beacon and AWS where you send the request and they'll have an offshore team create your virtuals. Then there's in-house. So you have your employees, your design team, and they are the ones receiving the requests. We also know there are other virtual sample tools that are online from other service providers in the industry, like Sage and a few others. And then there's us, our virtuals add-on. It was really important to us that we didn't just build the same thing that is available from other providers in our industry, because time and time again, our suppliers have expressed their pain points that are not solved with those tools. So you can see here on the left-hand side, the different criteria we looked at when making sure that ZOOMstudio and the Virtuals add-on would be extremely helpful for your team and distributors. So the number one thing, and I've said it throughout the session, is speed. We want to speed you guys up. We want you creating those virtuals instantly, getting them out the door and making sure that the end users can see them when they requested them. With bulk creation and the speed at which you can create virtuals in the virtual sample add-on, you will not find a solution out there that allows you to create virtuals as fast. Cost, also one important thing to think of is if you're outsourcing or using an in-house team, is what that ultimately is costing you. We know that hiring a graphic designer is not that affordable. It is really expensive. And so when you do have those team members on your team, you want to make sure that they're focused on projects that are going to be really effective for many customers. But when they're making individual virtuals, that is for one individual potential sale, not even guaranteed. And it is going to cost you a lot of money over time if that is how you're creating your virtuals. With the virtuals add-on, it is a one-time fee for setup and then an annual reoccurring, and that is dependent on how many products that you have. But we have no limitations on how many virtuals can be created, how many designs can be shared, and how many users use the tool. So if you are interested in pricing, reach out, we'll send you that. But the pricing is very simple to understand, and it isn't going to have caps limiting you on how much you can create. Another big thing, and we touched on it earlier, are the deliverables when it comes to virtuals. All the other options, you're just sending a static image. It's either a JPEG, a PDF if we're lucky, and you're putting it as an attachment on an email. You don't know where that's ending up. It's hard for a distributor to share it without having to put attachments in their own emails. But with ZOOMstudio and the Virtuals add-on, you are creating dynamic, interactive, virtual-enabled content. You can customize it for your customers' needs very easily, and you're sending them something that is beautiful that a distributor would be excited to then share on with their customers. I'm not going to go through each of these, just a couple more. One to mention is our data integration. So we are the only tool out there that actually hooks into your data so that we automatically get your blank images. We automatically have data about your imprint methods and imprint locations. And it allows you to include product details with the virtual. So the pricing, the color swatches, the description, and so forth. And of course, being able to work at scale. when you're creating one virtual at a time, regardless of how you're doing it, it is a time-consuming process. It is not scalable, and it is very hard for a supplier to meet the demand, because ultimately, if you can create a virtual every time they're requested, you're going to see a lot more results with your distributors and make sure they're not moving on to the next supplier who can get them the virtual. So if you are interested in learning more about the virtual add-on or getting a demo on ZOOMstudio, reach out to us. But we are so happy to be able to have presented to you today and shown you what we've been hard at work building. This is a proven tool. It is out there. We already have suppliers who have implemented it, using it in-house, sharing virtual enabled content, and letting their distributors actually use it from their website. So reach out to us to learn more. And in the meantime, please go ahead and type any questions you have in the chat box. All right, so the first question was, how do we get on board? So if you're interested, just shoot us an email at hello@zoomcatalog.com. We can put a proposal together for you, or if you want a demo or somebody else in your company to see it, we can set up time, or you can share this recording with them. Somebody asked if we can put a logo on multiple products in one image. That's a great question. We're actually building that feature right now. So a use case for that would be like if you had a kit where it has 2 mugs or a mug and a bag in one image. When you upload that logo, it will apply to both items in that picture. So we don't have it today, but it is in development and it will be ready really, really soon. All right, there aren't too many questions here today, so I think we can wrap this up. But I really appreciate everybody here who joined us, and we'd love to chat more. We'd like to hear about your pain points with virtuals and how we can help out. Again, just shoot us an email at hello@zoomcatalog.com and we can set up time. Oh, I think I might have one more question here. So can a logo be skewed to fit? That is a great question. Yes. So a logo can be rotated and skewed onto a product. We do support different types of images. There are going to be some really complex products that we can't support yet, and those we'll have to probably set up as a custom product. But we are able to fit imprint areas on the vast majority of promo products out there. So we can meet and look at your product selection and see if the tools meet your needs. But yes, they can be skewed onto a product. We're also working right now on a wrapping feature where if it was like wrapped around a mug, we need to crop off edges of the logo and kind of look like it's wrapping. So that is actually being rolled out right now. Great question. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Look out for our follow-up email. If you have questions, reach out, and hopefully we can work with you to help you create more virtuals quickly and help your distributors. Thanks, everybody.